thrilled with that performance?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was just looking at a few familiar faces. I used to be up here quite a bit. Going all right. Yeah, pleased for lots of reasons. Pleased for the players mainly. I spoke openly when I first got here about having 3 managers in short succession. Players trying to realign again. They've done very well with it. And I commend them on it because, I said to them this week and I said to them again after the game, we can only guide you in the right direction. It's down to you to perform, and they have done, both on the training pitch, absorbing the information and delivering performances. And that's all we can ask them. They're certainly, I think they're putting a lot into training, a lot into what we're all collectively trying to do to achieve things. And I think that's a very solid marker against the top side today.
Sure, obviously come here a number of times. You've won here with Burnley, but I mean a 3-0 win at Anfield. Put that into context, how big a win and how big a result is that?
Well, it's the strangest thing about football. Look, last year this football club used it as a catalyst and they carried on. We hope for that, but the strangest of, because of my awareness of the division, because I've been in it a long time, it doesn't guarantee the next one. I've said it for many years now. Of course it's to be enjoyed. I do enjoy it, people think I don't. I do. But it's for the fans and the players. But we've got to go again. You look at the league, it's not solved. Everything's not solved. But what it is, it's a good, strong marker about this group, and now they are willing and they're committed to the cause. Because the one thing I've learned about the Premier League, of course you need talent. You wouldn't be a Premier League player if you don't have talent. But what about the hard yards? What about the ugly side of the game? What about when the willingness and the desire as a collective group of people to stay focused on what the job is? And I thought that was excellent. We changed the tactical style massively today. I said, we're not passing out, don't worry about that. People can question me about it. It's not, I don't bother, as you know. I said, we're going along because these are going to press the life out of you, which they tried to do early in the game. And I thought they delivered it. They accepted it. I know we've got players we can play. If you saw the performances so far, I think we can mix our football and play good football, as people call it now. I like the one that wins personally. But anyways, and I thought we mixed it tactically today, but that's credit to the players. We can only say this all, if you're willing to deliver it, it's got a better chance of working, and it did today.
You've got to defend really well if you're going to get in here.
Absolutely. And I thought the early part, credit to Liverpool, I was a bit gutted that there was a 2-week break after the Man City games. There was a lot of noise, a lot of questions. It kind of, it calms and it settles. I warned the players. I said, these are, they've proved what they can do here. They're winners. They've won cups, leagues, all sorts. So I said, you've got to remind yourself of that. So we need to be ready. And fair play to them. They started really strong. I thought we defended fantastically well in the early part of the game, and then we sort of just managed to get a foothold of sorts. I don't mean by keeping the ball, but just that feel of the game starts changing. You could sense it in the atmosphere of the stadium. And then we score a goal, obviously. And then really I thought our shape and the basics were really good after that. And we still had enough in our locker to cause trouble on the break. And that's a different way of winning, but it's still a way of winning. And I said to him, another thing I've spoken endlessly to him is, how do you win football matches without the ball? Because that's an important factor over a Premier League season. It's very difficult, unless you're the superpowers, it's very difficult to dominate the ball in every game you play. So what about winning the games when you're not playing maybe as well, or you haven't got the ball? How do we do that? So I'm super pleased for these players, because I do believe there's some real talent here, some really talented footballers. But what about the day when we have to change things? And they've accepted that, and they've delivered it very, very well today.
Sean, there were lots of good performances today, but Murillo in particular seemed to personify everything that the team was about. What did you make of him today?
I thought Mats and the two centre-halves were excellent. Nico Williams again. Sav's learning. I thought second half he played very well, learning from the first half, as a unit. Murillo's doing very well. He's accepting of the work. He's still young, I thought aerially he was very strong on set pieces, which is certainly something we need from us. And there's been a lot made of corners, particularly. But no, he's all-round game, and he'll get fitter and stronger. And my kind of fit. I don't mean that in any way, shape or form, other than the way I work and my habits and what I want to do. And I think he's applied himself very well, and he continues to do so. All of them have. I must make that clear. All of them have accepted what we're doing, even the hard yards, because they've certainly put some hard work in, and they've accepted it.
Did you do anything different to prepare them for this game, with it being such a big game?
They worked very hard on Tuesday, because I think we've still got to get them how I like them physically. They worked very hard. We brought it down Thursday, Friday. We deloaded the tactical information, because sometimes you do. Sometimes you have a trust in the group. Kept it very basic. I often prefer to, when we're playing big games, is keep it very, very simple from terms of standard. The simple basics will never go out of fashion for me, and they've delivered it very well today.
Sean, What did you make of the goal that was ruled out?
I'm surprised that, I'm a long way from it at the point of action, but when I saw it back, I'm very surprised. I don't know who's, we'll ask for an explanation. I don't know who's seen what, but I was very surprised. I was equally surprised, I've got to be honest, I'm going to have a gripe. My assistant gets booked in a technical area that's only big enough for us to work. How do you work? Because this rule now, you're not allowed to have people on the side. I said before the game, I text Howard, I've told Simon Morgan of the Premier League, because I'm fed up with it. I said, this certain grounds, because we had it at Goodison, not the new Goodison, obviously, there's only so much room you can go in there. Where are you meant to work? We are professional people at the end of the day, and their question is how many people are standing on the side. Well, you can't talk in front of your bench now about the players who are out there. So it's ridiculous. Imagine they're all listening. So where are you meant to go and do your work? We're working. So I can't understand all that. It's a load of nonsense for me, that. Just let us work. So you're getting people booked and all that for nothing. You go, oh God, just let's get on with what we're doing. Surely fans are not worried whether two coaches stand on the sidelines chatting about some players. Surely they're not that worried. Goodness me, come on.
Sean, at 1-0 and certainly at 2-0, were you ever sort of concerned that Liverpool were building up ahead of steam that were going to come back into the game? Because it didn't feel like that. It felt like your shape and you had
Yeah.
control.
No, I know you mean. From years of doing it, I think it feels different. When I was a younger coach, I would have probably thought, oh, this could change at any second. But your gut instinct sometimes is correct. And I thought the way that the team, by the way, were handling their performance got stronger as the game went on. And of course, goals, I've said it many times, not just the scoreline, it builds a different feeling in the performance. But they can hurt you, these teams. I've played in other games, I have. Some of you have seen what I do and the teams I work with, where you think you've got them and the game gets away from you. So you can't guarantee it, but my feeling was we gave a really good performance tactically to make sure that they didn't really get too much in the way of real threat. I thought Mats did the basics very, very well today when he had to. And the centre-halves particularly, I thought were outstanding today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
That's not a technical error.